everybody. Welcome to another edition of Box Seats. Your host, Frank Holder, here, where we talk about sports with comedians. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about. Before we jump into it, though, let me first thank you all for watching the show and continuing to support us. We appreciate all of you all. Continue to do that, man. Thank you so much. So let's get ready to get the show started, my man. Talent in the building, one of the Def Comedy Jam alums, famous for all kinds of things. And I think, T, what's going on? And I think you're the most famous for cracking on people, man. I got to talk to you.
Probably. I'm not going to deny that. I mean, that's where I made my bones in these streets, getting on people, and it just transferred over and just kept it going. I mean, you got a funny brain. I'm
trying to tell you, you used to be the dude that we used to avoid at high school. Like, don't go like this. Don't let that. My man Fig is also in the building. What's up, Fig? How you doing, bro?
Hey, man, it's good to be the king. What can I tell you?
Okay.
Okay.
All right. There it is. So we got a lot to talk about, man. We're going to jump into it and everything else while we wait for some of the other guys to join in. I'm sure the guys are going to come in a second. Let me get ready to get started. Before we jump into the NBA stuff and the NFL stuff, I was sitting around thinking last night, T, that, Victor Wembanyama is probably one of the most highest touted guys coming out next year, right? I'm sitting there watching some of the NBA games and everything else right now, and I was wondering, if there's going to be some teams that are going to tank to try to get this guy because the expectations for the NBA season are really, really high. So I want to ask you, T, if you are an NBA team, which NBA team you think is going to tank to get this dude? Now, I'm going to throw my team out there. I think it's going to be OKC because OKC already has Chet Holmgren. You know what I mean? OKC, they need him. And they would probably be amazing to have two dudes at 7 feet tall at playing the guard position and one on the wing, or probably both of them guards, bringing the ball up, which would be bananas for OKC. You know what I mean? They already saw how that happened.
No, that's a legitimate guess right there. First of all, I want to applaud you for attempting to say the man's name.
Yeah, I know, right? I don't know how to say his name.
I'm never trying that. I'm gonna get a nickname for him, and that's what it's gonna be. But no, that's a great educated guess. But I would say, it's early to tell. I think when people tank, what happens is they wait to see how they're originally doing almost halfway through the season.
Mm-hmm.
And then they make a conscious decision, like, you know what, we damn near in last place. Ain't no need to try to pick up the speed now. Let's get this money coming out of this draft. I think that would be like, to me, I could see, believe it or not, even barring last night's beautiful opening appearance, I could see the Pelicans doing.
Oh, you could. Well, yeah.
I could see the Pelicans looking to put another power piece in there. But again, like I said, if they start to lose some games and find themselves, I don't know, in that 20 and 40 slot, 60 games in, be like, you know what? Let's not even fight for the play-in. Let's tank out and get our odds up to get this guy. So I could see like the Pelicans, but now that you mentioned OKC, that's a great educated guess.
Well, I'll say this to you. San Antonio, Houston, Indiana, Utah, and Orlando, along with OKC, are the teams that people are going to think are going to all try to tank. So I don't know how that's going to I don't know if it'd be the Pelicans, though, T, because right now, what's his name? Zion looked really phenomenal, and they really want to come back. But you made a great point, too. Fig, I'm going to ask you this. If you're an NBA team, do you think there would be an NBA team that would who would be your NBA team to tank to get this Victor Wembanyama kid? He's the most highest touted kid to come out in the NBA since LeBron James. 17 years old, France, 7'4", 8 feet long wingspan. People are, the NBA now is almost to $2 billion franchise. You know what I mean? It used to be $1 billion franchise. Now people are, you get this kid, you could turn your whole franchise around and become not just rich, super wealthy. What's your take?
Wembanyama, that's his name. And they already started tanking for him. Utah, that's the team.
Utah?
That's why Danny Ainge wanted that ex-Celtic snake in the grass, grimy, greasy, disgusting Danny Ainge that wanted 92,000 picks.
Hold on. Why are you calling Danny Ainge grimy and greasy? I want to hear this.
Because Danny Ainge is always, when he played, he was grimy and greasy. He was He was a sneaky white Chris Paul. He used to sneak and take cheap shots and stuff like that. Man, listen, I'm an NBA fan before most people were born. I watched those games. Danny Ainge was as dirty as they came. You
Yeah,
know,
I
and
disagree with that.
Danny Ainge belonged, to be honest with you, listen, he belonged on the bad boys of Detroit because he was disgustingly dirty. Now, with that said, he's already started. They already got rid of two of their best players in Utah so they could tank for him. They already did it. He's already started. The same thing they did when he was in Boston. He started it already. He got rid of Gobert, which was a 7-footer, and he just got rid of what's the name? Oh God, he just went to Cleveland. No, he went to Cleveland.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell. So they already started. They ain't gonna win no games. In the West, who Utah gonna beat in the West?
I gotta say this. I can't let this go without them saying this and everything else. Danny Ainge, people will probably say he's been one of the best NBA executives in the league in the last 10 years.
That he has been. That's definitely true.
He built the Celtics organization to what they are right now. He's trying to do the same thing for Utah. I don't think he's grimy about that. And honestly, I think your pick for Utah is a phenomenal pick because I can literally see him doing that. I don't think he would disagree either. That's probably why they're getting up all these picks so they can say, hey, we'll give you 2 or 3 of these picks if you let us get the number 1 pick to whoever gets the number 1 pick, unless they tank and get him. Unless they tank and get
unless they get up there, because I don't see them beating anybody, Frank. I mean, think how loaded the West is right now.
I don't either.
The West is loaded. I mean, you got Golden State, you got the Clippers. They probably not even. They're not going to beat LA with the team that they got right now. There's so many teams in the West. You're not going to beat New Orleans with Zion and that team that played last night. They look like a championship team last night. They look unstoppable.
Yeah, and I only saw the highlights, but I just gotta have to jump into that, and we're gonna talk about that in a second. But let me first bring up my man Talent and talk about your New York Knicks last night, team. We got to jump in to talk about that because they played the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis Grizzlies ended up they were playing in Memphis. They squeaked it out in OT. Memphis played some of the greatest basketball in the first half and some of the worst basketball in the second half you'll see. But the Knicks still was scrappy and didn't give up, came down from 19 points. What's your take from looking? I know it's game 1. We can't get too excited. We can't get too, we just can't jump off.
My take is great, but New York take, if you watch the whole game, we came all the way back and they got some home cooking on the final 4 calls of the game, which gave the game back to Memphis. We literally took the lead, took the game, Frank, and then 2 breakaways. It was 2 no calls, clear no calls. I mean, one knocked Brunson ass under the basket. 2 clear no calls, and then they went down the other end and gave Memphis 2 chippers. Mm-hmm. So that's what cracks me up about basketball. When it comes to fouls, there's those blatant ones that we all can see, and then there's what we call chippers, like the little nicks on the hand or something like that, and it become an and one. So those 2 and ones they gave him, one was for Job, one was for the other guy. The big guy. The big guy was hacking like a mule, but he was getting little fouls on the other end. So now that last minute of play, minute and a half, they took the game. So my takeaway is very good as far as the Knicks go, because this is supposed to be one of the projected teams to end up in the big dance. It's supposed to be one of the best teams coming out the West Coast. Mm-hmm. And if you were East Coast, you didn't even make the playoffs last year. And your first game 1 on the road, mind you. Mm-hmm. Let's not act like we was in the Garden. On the road, with all damn near everything against you, you came back and kicked them boys. And the young dude, let me give props for props is due. First of all, it's 3 props that got to go out. I mean, Randall's Randall. He's by himself. But when you look at and excuse my ignorance, because I was studying the name all night and then still woke up and forgot it. But the big white boy put in some work last night.
Yeah, he did.
He put in some mad work going up against Big Boy on the other team. And then you gotta give credit to Toppin, and then my man Reddish. Yo, Reddish hit some big ass, not some, like almost it seemed like every shot that he made was timely as hell. And on top of that, he was barking back at Ja. because you know Ja like to do. Ja very animated when he makes something like it's the greatest thing in the world and pounded chest and looking in the three. Yo, Reddish bonged him back and looked at him, and they put the camera on him. And I know they hate when they do this. When they catch you in the heat of the moment, the camera's on him, you could clearly see. I said, oh, somebody getting fired at the camera crew. They done caught the whole. I said, damn. So I love my team. They look real good last night.
All right. I know Fig is gonna want to jump on that. So I'll give you your shine on the Knicks last night. Talk to me, man.
I think the Knicks play exceptionally well. I did see some home cooking and stuff like that. But here's the thing: when you're playing and you're on the road, you can't let that happen. You have to beat when you're on the road and you playing a team. You have to beat them decisively so the refs can't get involved. But they really did last night, and there was some a couple of times they swallowed the whistle, and a couple of times they were calling cheap fouls. And the thing is, all stars get the benefit of the doubt. And the one problem that the Knicks are going to have going forward is we don't have one. We don't have a superstar that we can put our name on right now. We don't have the Ja Morant. We don't have the Zion Williamson and LeBron James. Like, we don't have that staple that when they go to the basket or something happens that they're going to get that call. Memphis did. They won last night. We were on the road in their building, and we took them to overtime. And these are the team that is talking about knocking off the Golden State Warriors. So if this is what our team is going to look like going forward, I'm very excited about it. And Talon was right with everything that he said, man. It was just amazing. Steven Adams, the thing that excites me about Steven Adams is that he's a bruiser on the basketball court. And then in the offseason, he finds time to go and film a movie and play Aquaman. This is what's
All right, let me just say this, man. Let me leave y'all with this, man. I'm gonna say this about the Knicks. The Knicks played phenomenally well to be able to come back from down from 19. If they're able to put it together, they might be like every year we always talk in basketball, football, in every sport. There's always a surprise team that's been able to come out and do things. T, is your surprise team? I know you're a New York Knicks fan. Is your surprise team could be the Knicks? Do you think it could be the Knicks? And could your surprise team in the West be who? You know what I mean? Like, because right now I know it's real early, game one, but I didn't expect the Knicks. I didn't expect the Knicks to play this well. But hey, I gotta say this too. Last year, the Knicks early on beat the Celtics right out the gate. First game, game one, they beat the Celtics out the gate, and everybody had big expectations too. Are we looking at the same thing or what?
Yeah, absolutely. I think obviously on the East is the Knicks because they didn't even make the playoffs, and obviously on the West is the now all of a sudden healthy Clippers. I said I got them going all the way, but that's the biggest surprise of the league to me because they were missing. They didn't have a John Wall, first of all.
Right.
Kawhi missed the whole season. This brother he might as well go on vacation. He should have went to Dubai. I'd have went to Dubai and just hung out and party. I had a whole year off. So with these added two pieces to what they were already decent. Think about how decent they were, Frank, without what the power play, the other dynamic duo piece, and then this added top point guard piece, and they were still relevant.
Yeah, no
so
doubt about
now
it.
they go from relevancy to the team to beat to me.
So now let's flip the script, T. Let's talk about the Brooklyn Nets right now, right? I watched a large portion of that game, man, and I was really, really blown away with how horrible Ben Simmons looked last night, bro. I couldn't believe how bad this brother looked. And I didn't watch the whole game, but the way I saw that game, I was like, wow. So I want to ask you this, T. Did the Pelicans look that good? Or did Brooklyn be that bad? You know what I mean? Talk to me about that, T. What's your take?
I think Brooklyn looked that bad. And I was mad all night. You know, only thing worse than drinking bad alcohol is drinking alcohol with an attitude. I was mad at Fig all night. Because I'm in the bar. Remember, Fig made that comment talking about, oh, I can't believe they're playing the Knicks on ESPN. They should be playing the Nets. They got the stars. And that game was a horrible JV scrimmage.
Right.
That was a horrible game. Who the hell wanted to see that primetime ESPN when you had that nail biter the Knicks put up last night. They put up a nail biter that went to OT. We wouldn't even went to OT if those last couple of calls, them phantom calls, the ones that the no calls, I should say, that didn't happen, Knicks would have won by 2. And I was mad at Fig watching the thing, but yeah, the Nets. Here's the thing, and this is why Kevin Durant is still one of the greatest players, if not the greatest guy with basketball right now. The Nets play horrible. Kevin Durant had a great game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kevin Durant was still Kevin Durant. Durant fucking can't stop me, 30-plus points. He was still that guy. While these guys were stinking up the gym, this guy was still doing his thing. He started off slow, had 3 turnovers before he even scored a bucket. But after that, he buckled down, and these other guys couldn't find, even like Kyrie said in the post interview, he said, man, I don't want to be up there every game talking about coulda, woulda, shoulda.
I'm trying to tell you.
He said, y'all lose one more game, I'm getting vaccinated. So I think they stunk the gym up, right?
My man G Money is in the building watching the show. I got to give a shout out. He's another Fig. You would like my man Gerald Philippone. He is one of the biggest New York Knicks fans I know this side of Mississippi. He's bigger than a New York Knicks fan than you are, Fig. Big, like I've known that dude for years. Shout out to G Money in the building. Also, shout out to all the people sitting there watching the show. I appreciate all of y'all. So, Fig, I'm gonna ask you this, man. First of all, let's talk about the Brooklyn Nets collapse. I want to ask you that, then I want to go back to the Knicks and ask you that same question I asked Fig. Let's go to Brooklyn Nets. Were you more surprised of the Brooklyn Nets getting slapped up by the Pelicans, or were you surprised at how good the Pelicans look? And we're going to come back to that New York Knicks question in a second. What's your take?
First off, let me say talent. The center name is Hartenstein.
My man.
Isaiah Hartenstein.
Hartenstein. Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
I think here's the thing that I was always suspect, Frank. I don't know if you remember when I talk about the Nets. No defense, no ring. Ain't got no defense, man. They have no defense whatsoever. Listen, I don't think there's a team in the NBA that's going to have an answer for Zion. Brandon Ingram is playing lights out, and then they have the dude from the net from Washington, Beal. They got Beal. I'm like, listen, Beal is lights out, guaranteed 30 points a night. Brandon Ingram looked like a young version of Kevin Durant back in the day, except he looked like he put on a little bit of weight. It looked like he got on a little man weight right now. Let me tell you something. There's not a team in the NBA to be like, yo, you know what? You know who we want to play? We want to play New Orleans. They don't exist. Nobody want to see New Orleans. I believe it was a combination of what you said, Frank. New Orleans played exceptionally well, and the Nets looked horrible. They looked like they were not together. They had no cohesiveness. I was flipping back and forth between the games, man. They just look absolutely horrible. Yeah, horrible. They had no chemistry. They had nothing. And anybody thinks that this whole thing that happened with Kevin Durant and Kyrie and Ben Simmons is not affecting the rest of those guys, and you just don't know human nature.
Yeah, I think that. So let's talk to T. I got to talk to you about this other kid, man, who made phenomenal stats last night. Orlando Magic's Paolo Banchero. He put up some numbers that hasn't happened since LeBron James, which was 25, 5, and 5 in his debut. He scored 27 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists. Even though they lost to the Detroit Pistons, 113 to 109. This kid, I saw the highlights. I'm gonna tell you right now, T. Some people might be sitting there saying, "Damn, we should have got that kid instead of getting this Chet Holmgren kid," because this Paolo Banchero kid looked like he was the truth. So, T, what you think about Paolo? Do you think the numbers was a fluke? Do you think this dude's the real deal? Talk to me, bro. What do you think?
Well, I don't think it's a fluke, but I wouldn't jump that far out the gate. Here's my thing.
Okay.
Everything I bank is on consistency. So I can't just go off of, the guy had a good showing one time. You might do it again in 3 months. You might do it 2 months after that, because that's not the consistency you're looking for. These guys are going to be playing games every couple of days. And can you do that consistently? If you do that consistently after a certain amount of time, then I start to think like what you just said. Like, God damn, we did the wrong thing. We should have did this and not that. Should have zigged when you zag and zagged when you zig. But too soon, too little, and too little time to come to that conclusion, because we got to look at consistency. I mean, this is a league where we've seen people have these great, stupendous showings.
Right.
But then we don't see it again.
Right. I can't even doubt that at all. Fig, let me ask you. Hold on, let me get my thing. Let me ask you another question. I want to ask you a different question because Powell looked really good. Powell looked phenomenal. There's no doubt about that. Let's talk about Donovan Mitchell playing for the Cavs. Right? Donovan Mitchell played so well for the Cavs. I want to ask you: do you think right now Cleveland is sitting there saying that we building for the future, or Cleveland is sitting in the right space, right place of mind, and saying, you know what, let's play out what we get, and let's see where we are come time for the draft, because we might be able to get somebody low in the draft too. You know, help out the team. What you think about the Donovan Mitchell for this?
Listen, Donovan Mitchell dropped like over 30 points last night. Donovan Mitchell is going to be Donovan Mitchell no matter what team he goes to. Here's the thing: is that at the end of the day, they have to build that chemistry. You don't get a chemistry in the summertime playing summer league and stuff like that. The first game of the season, I want to see what they look like. Come February, you know what I mean? Let me see what they look like at the All-Star break. And that's when you could get a good indication of what a team is going to be and what they're not going to be. Oh, one more thing I want to say, Frank, about Zion. He did all that work playing in Skechers. That's what he was. Yo, I don't know where he got them Herman Munster sneakers. He was
Kanye
West.
And he got it from Kanye West. Those are Ye's.
He's wearing Air Monsters.
That's horrible.
But he probably need those not to tear out of them.
Let me ask you this, man. I was building up to ask you that question, this question, T and Fig, because this is what I really want to ask you guys. I want you guys to get to me, and I want you guys to hear me out, because y'all always crack on me with my Pelican briefs. So I'm gonna throw this out there with you, T. Here it is.
Do New Orleans Pelicans briefs?
You ready? You ready for this? Here we go, T. Do you think that the Lakers, because the Lakers right now, I looked at the schedule. They could literally start out 0-9, bro. Their next 8 or 9 games look horrible. Do you think the Lakers should tank and trade LeBron to be in the running to get this Victor Wembanyama kid for next year? Do you think they should do that? And I'm gonna say this now. If I'm the Lakers, I'll put this out there. I'll put me out there so y'all can think I'm crazy. If I'm the Lakers, I do that. I trade LeBron because they're not gonna make the playoffs. They're not gonna do that good. They won't even make the play-in. They have no shooters. They're not playing defense. They're not playing cohesive, and Russ don't want to come off the bench. They look like they're getting ready to feed a horrible season. So I'm going out on a limb right there and say, should the Lakers trade LeBron and tank and try to get this Victor Wembanyama kid? Because you know what? If he comes to LA next year, that could be the turning point for them to turn things around. That's my Pelican brief. What you think, T?
Yeah, but here's the thing. The Lakers, they've always had too much pride to do that.
That's
always.
True.
They've always had to think about that damn decade that they just stink the gym up, stink the league up for 9 years straight. And they could have did that then, Frank. They could have never in their plans of attack was that in there. It was always we're gonna trade and we're gonna buy this and the Yankee mentality.
There hasn't been a kid that come out in the NBA like this kid's coming out now since LeBron. So there's a lot of teams that should be scrambling. If I'm LA, I would take a hard look at this kid. This kid is 7'4". He's not just a flash in the pan.
Your name is not LA. Your name is Frank Holden. And you're from the Commonwealth. So this is Hollywood. This is Sunset Boulevard. This is Roscoe Chicken and Wild. They have too much pride, too much glitter and glitz. They're not going to do the practical thing that the practical teams would do. It's a slew of teams, like you said. You ain't telling no lie. It's a slew of teams out there that's already plotting and planning to go the back door and try to get this kid, because he is the most exciting thing we've seen since LeBron came in the league. However, LA, now here's the funny thing about what I'm saying. I don't see them sucking up their pride, pause, to get to this point, but LA's always been tricky and finicky enough as well to find backdoor resolutions to get what they want.
Pause.
They've been wanting LeBron forever. They got him.
Yeah.
So they're that kind of team. Even though they may not tank it out to get him the first way, they'll wait that 2-3 years on top of that to get them the other way. They don't care. And a lot of teams, whether you believe it or not, a lot of teams, when people come out that hype, people do wait for other people to get them to see if they can live up to the hype. Because we all know the hype you carry through high school and college don't always pan out with the big boys.
Yeah, but I got to push back a little bit on this. I'm going to throw it to Fig. I can push back a little bit because if this kid lands on a team that has a little bit of money and they could drop a lot of money, he'll never land in LA unless he decides to go to LA. You know what I mean? But the LA, then you got to have the money to pay him. I don't know, man. It's Fig.
Well, you forget that these are kids too, Frank. These are kids. And kids have their heroes and their places they grew up idolizing where they want to play. That's how New York and LA get most of their players. Great.
Excellent point. Fig, am I too far-fetched with saying that the Lakers should trade for LeBron and try to get this kid? Or because this kid is sitting out there, he is literally a game changer.
I think he is, but here's the thing. He's not going to be available until next year. So not only would the Lakers have to trade LeBron, they'd have to trade LeBron for a bunch of picks, and then they'd have to tank just to even be in the lottery to get this kid. But that's a long shot. Even doing all that, there's no guarantee that they'll end up with him, and that's where you run into the problem. Then add the fact that LeBron is slated to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as the scoring champion. LA don't want that to happen nowhere else. Do you know the kind of hoopla they're going to get just from that this year? That's true. If I were the Lakers, I would make the trade with Indiana. I would give up those draft picks for, I think it's 27 and 29. Russell Westbrook and pick up those two players that they're trying to get out of Indiana. There's two players. And I think one of them's a center and one of them's a spot-up shooter. Is a guy that can play center when because Anthony Davis doesn't want to play. And, you know, LeBron James always does well when he has a shooter. You know, and when he has shooters around him. So I would do that and try and salvage this year and do something significant, you know what I mean, to make the Lakers relevant this year. Because right now, the way they're going with talent set, they might not even make the play-in because everybody in the West has gotten better. And the Lakers seem like they're going with Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook. They're going to fall into obscurity this year if they don't make a major move.
I'm saying right now, you guys can say game one after the first week in the NBA. I don't think the Lakers are going to make the playoffs. I'm saying it now. I don't think they make the playoffs. I think they need something drastic. Let me shout out to all the people right now who I think Daniel's watching, Alfreda's watching, Trina's watching, G1's watching. I can't see all the other names right now because it won't allow me to see a lot of the names or anything else. But all you all watching, thank you all for watching boxing. We greatly appreciate y'all. If y'all agree with me, please let me know because some of my boys may not be talking at night. They be thinking I'm tripping. You know what I mean? I think the Lakers should trade LeBron right now. I think that's what's gonna happen. But let's keep it moving, right? Like T, we gonna keep it moving. T, I'm gonna jump into the NFL right now. Dak Prescott got medically cleared to play. He can start this week against Detroit Lions. I know you got the line on that, T, so I'm going to actually look up the line on that in a second. But do you think that Prescott should play this week? The Dallas Cowboys should have him play this week when they're playing the Detroit Lions? Or should they wait until he is 100% healthy before they roll him out there? What do you think the Dallas Cowboys should do?
Yeah, they got to play him. They're very close to desperate. They're not quite desperate, maybe a game or two, but you're close to it. And why play with fire? Even if you don't plan to play him a whole game, I would bring him out. Maybe you do, depending on how the scoring goes, a quarter or two, just to let him get the real feel back. Because remember, they've been before this week, they've been practice pro. You know, he was working out after practice and not in practice. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to play him, he's going to be cleared to come back. I'd say start him just to keep that going, and then don't press it. Don't try to win a Super Bowl this week. You know what I mean? Just play him to get his feel, get his feet under him. And get it going because just for your information, the line is 7 points.
Ah, it is. Okay.
Dallas is favored over the Lions by 7. And this is before the official announcement whether he's going to play or not.
Oh, okay.
So that number one thing about those numbers, they slide slightly depending on things like injuries and who's activated and who's not activated and stuff like that.
Okay, so it looks like some people agree with me. Looks like a lot of people agree with me on the side. So I can't really see the names. So Fig, you're gonna have to tell me who agree with me. I can't see.
I don't see them all, Frank, but I'll tell you this. You don't trade a generational player like LeBron James with no guarantees. Plus, what are you going to get for him?
Yeah,
that's the thing.
Yeah, we talked about it. I'm just saying, like, it would still raise your chances if you made you got to make an attempt. You know what I mean? If you're sitting back, and you're Rob Pelinka, I think you should make an attempt to try to do something.
You got to trade. You got to trade LeBron James to a team that has a lot of picks,
right?
So that you could be
I'm saying you do that. I'm saying you do that. I don't know who the team would be, but I'm saying you do that. But anyway, let's keep it moving. Let me just throw this out there to you,
Hickory dickory dack.
Tua right now got cleared to play too. He's playing Pittsburgh. He got cleared to play against Pittsburgh right now. If you're Miami, you sit there and say we clear him because Tua came out and said he lost consciousness 2 weeks ago after he got hit. He literally got knocked out on the field when his fingers cramped up and everything else. And Miami is rolling him out this week against Pittsburgh. And if Pittsburgh ends up to bring the defense that we know that they have, which they haven't had, we know they have to have, would you roll Tua out this week? I don't know what you're thinking about. I would.
Man, you know what, man? Here's the thing. It's a gladiator sport. If he's cleared medically by the team doctors and getting a second opinion, then you got to let him play. The kid wants to play, you got to let him play. But to me, with 2 concussions in succession like that, I would hold this kid out as long as possible. Just the optics of it. Could you imagine?
That's my point.
What happens if this kid gets injured again? I mean, it's just I don't even know, man. The PR would just be off the rails, man, because it's like, man, I don't even know what you do with this kid, man. It's a touchy situation. I say you got to let him play if he's healthy enough to play.
So who you got? You got Miami?
Well, between the two, between Miami and Pittsburgh, I mean, if Tua plays, they're an exceptional team. When Tua plays, they were beating everybody. If Tua plays, I take him over Pittsburgh all day.
All right,
but I'll tell you this: if he gets injured again, all the King's horses and all the King's men won't be able to put Tua back together again. His career will be over.
Trying to tell you, my man T, talk to me, man. The Jets are playing against the Broncos this week, but the Broncos got some problems, man. Nathaniel Hackett was really upset. Melvin Gordon was upset. Melvin Gordon didn't get no carries in the second half last week, but the Broncos are playing the Jets this week. They're trying to get ready to hope to move the ball against the Jets. They're saying that the Jets have some vulnerability against the run, and I was like, y'all are smoking crack. Because one thing the Jets did have was an inside pass rush against a lot of people this year. And the Jets, the game that they lost, they barely lost. Listen, and I hate the Jets. You all know I hate the Jets, but you gotta look. You gotta speak the truth.
It's not true, Frank.
What? It's not.
You got on Jets colors right now,
or Celtics colors, depending on how you look at it. How do you want to look at it? Do you think the Jets? You think the Jets are going to be able to put the stomp on the Broncos? You think the Broncos going to pull it around? What do you think it looks like this week against Broncos versus the Jets? What's your take?
I don't think there's something. I was watching them break down all the problems they're having out there. I think it's way too much going on with Denver Broncos to pull it all together for this quick in 1 week. We say it's quarterback because we expect our quarterbacks in the NFL to be kind of superhero-ish.
Yeah.
But the reality is a quarterback is only good as his line. And if you have a horrible front line, that's the biggest problem any offense could have because the run can't get from back there. quarterback can't get time to throw. No connection could happen, so you get no continuity in the offense. I think it's too much going on with that line. And then even when you flip it, we thought from last year that Denver had a decent dope-ass defense. And they're getting exploited this year on defense. They're not just losing games. People putting points up. They're not stopping the run. And what are we coming in there with? The run.
I have to disagree with you on that one, T. The Denver defense is really, really – if their offense can't move the ball.
Nah, that defense ain't good. And let me tell you something. When you have a good defense, you stop numbers from being up. When you have numbers put up against you, there's only one way. That means the offense is better than your defense.
Well, I'm gonna look it up, but I'm willing to bet that Denver's defense is probably top 10 in the league. I'm gonna look it up and stuff.
I don't care what number you rank them, Frank. The numbers don't lie.
Okay, all right. I'm
You
saying
know what, Frank? I think you're right on one sense. I think Denver has a decent defense. I think what the problem is, the offense is on the line such a short period of time. By the third and fourth quarter, the defense is spent. I think they're tired because the offense is not doing anything. So they're good in the beginning of the game, but at the end, the team's just beating the crap out of them because the offense ain't doing nothing. The offense is standing on the line. You keep going 3 and out. Eventually, the defense is going to get tired, especially if they're going against a running team. And the Jets is a really, really good running team. And that quarterback back there is doing some decent work in the passing game. So I think Russell Wilson, man, as much money as he got on the table, if things don't turn around quick, he might retire and just sit out there on the porch. Him and Sierra had the kids pass by, be like, "Hey, Mr. Wilson."
I gotta tell you too that the Broncos have one of the worst offensive lines in the league right now. I think they
put it this way: another team stinking up the league right now is the Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
But the Raiders gave Denver 32 points.
Yeah, but that was one game. See, I'm talking overall. We dude,
the bum ass Geno Smith, and it's blasphemy saying it because I'm a Jets. Even my dude Geno beat them with 17 on the board, and Geno, we didn't even know Geno was still in the league.
I thought Geno was making pizza.
And
thought he opened up a pizzeria.
And they won.
All right, let me talk to you about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Carolina Panthers, Sam Darnold is returning to practice this week after an ankle injury. Tom Brady's having some issues after he chewed out their offensive line. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are looking to face the Carolina Panthers this week. Do you think Tampa Bay is going to turn things around against Carolina Panthers? Or do you think Carolina Panthers are going to be able to say, you know what, this is going to be our week coming back. We could do that because Carolina's been a mess and Tampa Bay's been unraveling. You know what I mean? So who do you think is going to pull it out? And what's your thoughts?
Well, my money's on Tom because – let me tell you something. I don't like the Tom Brady you guys like. You guys like the model. You like the Mr. Giselle.
No, we don't.
I like the Tom Brady I seen last week cursing out dudes on the bench. That's my Tom Brady. That's the one I like to watch. And I think he's pissed off. And I think Tom is gonna kind of overextend the normal comfortableness that he plays with just to will this one to victory because you know, the last one is unacceptable. Last couple of losses are unacceptable. So I look for them. If I had to put my money on him coming out or the Panthers coming out, obviously I'm putting my money on Tom Brady.
Okay. Yeah. So on the flip side of that thing, I'm going to ask you, Baker Mayfield's been looking horrible. Do you think that they should literally roll out Sam Darnold or because he's supposed to be cleared and everybody's they fed up with Baker Mayfield, at least give him a chance? Do you think Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield is better? Who would you roll out if you're the Carolina Panthers?
You know, the thing is that I never thought that Sam Darnold was a bad quarterback, but you know, they said they had a quarterback the challenge, like they actually competed for the spot and Baker beat him out. So I mean, Baker hasn't been doing well. I mean, if you're trying to turn your season around or you're trying to give your team a spark, then you roll out Sam Darnold. But you know who really knows, Frank? The truth is that I don't care what your coaches and your management says. The guys in the locker room know who the dude is and who ain't. So you know it depends on what they think, man. But I mean, you can't do any worse.
That's true. I got another Pelican brief for you guys. You know I always gotta have a Pelican brief. Here's my NFL Pelican brief. My NFL Pelican brief is that OBJ signs with the Kansas City Chiefs. That's my Pelican brief right now. And
wow.
I'm gonna say why. If he goes to Green Bay, that'd be a horrible move because the Green Bay, I'm gonna tell you this right now. Green Bay lost 2 games in a row. Green Bay could have lost 3 games in a row because the game that they barely won was against the Patriots, and they went to overtime when the Patriots literally just brought in their 3rd-string QB, and he brought them to OT. Green Bay would have been OBJ is not the guy. OBJ is not the guy. But if you are OBJ right now, where do you think you sign, and where would you go to help the team get over the hump? I think it's Kansas City because the Kansas City, literally, right, they're lights out right now. They look really good against Buffalo. I wouldn't be mad if he went to Buffalo, but I think OBJ is going to sign with Kansas City. Where do you think OBJ is going to sign at, T?
I think, like you, I agree. Kansas City makes the most sense because of momentum, going off of how they're playing with the momentum. But a loss is a loss. Even though they play good, they lost. Right. And that's an even Steven opportunity. You're going to 2 dope quarterbacks. Argumentatively, we really can't pick who's better. You would probably give the edge to Mahomes because of age, but other than that, there's no wrong answer quarterback wise, and they both got the kind of holes you need. However, you get the edge with Kansas City because of Kelce,
and because they lost Tyreek Hill, and he would fill in that spot.
They both lost top receivers,
right.
But you go to Kansas City, you get on a team with a dope quarterback who lost a top receiver but got a Kelce. You go to Green Bay, you got dope quarterback who lost a top receiver, but ain't no Kelce. Ain't no tight end on that team making noise like Kelce's over there.
Yeah.
So you don't have you're missing a little. You're off with help a little bit, but like I said, momentum wise, what you said makes the most sense.
Yeah, and Green Bay got a lot more problems than Kansas City got. And I don't want to give it those 2 things, but I just think OBJ is going to go to – I don't think he's going to Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay fake. I think OBJ is going to – it's a Buffalo or Kansas City. If I had to put my money right now, I'm going with Kansas City. Where do you think OBJ is going to land that fake? Where do you see that?
You know, if I had to pick – well, put it this way. If I had my way – I'd like to see him go back to the Giants. Yeah, if I had my way. I know you're saying, I know. But listen, a lot of the stuff that OBJ got into with the Giants, it was when he was young, he was a little younger and a little less mature. I think he matured over the years, and he got a win. You know what I mean? He got a championship already. So I think he might do well on the Giants, but I guess if he ain't going to do that, then I'd like to see him in Kansas City because Kansas City got some decent receivers. Like Talon said, they got Kelce, and you can't cover them all. You can't cover all of them. If OBJ goes over there, that's one extra receiver that the defense has to account for, and that's a problem with a dude like Patrick Mahomes that can get you the ball. So and he ain't gonna put it right on target too.
Let me ask you this, T, and I'm gonna try and come right back to you in a second. Thing. If you starting out a franchise quarterback, because you got an OBJ sitting there, do you get Patrick Mahomes or do you get Buffalo Bills QB Josh Allen? Because your OBJ, you're sitting there, you right now, because both of them play similar styles of football. Both of them do. You know what I mean? It's just that one hasn't won a Super Bowl and one has. If you're OBJ, do you say, damn, Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes? Who you pick?
Well, Black Lives Matter, Frank.
Okay, I get that. But I'm trying not to go to color route. I'm trying not to go to color route.
That's first of all. That's first of all.
Okay, but who you pick? Josh Allen's a bad boy too now.
Once again, but he's not black. Once again, I'm gonna have to choose Kanye West. And no, but all jokes aside, damn, that's a good question. If I'm OBJ, I'm going Josh Allen. Yeah, I'm going Josh Allen. And no disrespect to Patrick Mahomes, but when I look at the throwing style, they're similar in movement-wise, but the throwing style is different. They're similar.
I think Josh Allen's stronger. Don't you think Josh Allen's like a stronger runner? I think he's
stronger. I'm not gonna say stronger. The only reason I'm not gonna say stronger, we gotta be careful the words we pick, because you judge the strength of an arm. Like when a quarterback throws against their body, that shows the strength, not just heaving. Like all those guys can heave, but strength is when you run into your right and you can flick across the grain of your running and body to the left. If that thing has the velocity and power, that's strength. Yeah. And Mahomes has shown us that more than Josh Allen. However, Josh Allen, he's a receiver's quarterback more, if that makes sense. It's hard to pick my words here. A receiver's quarterback, meaning like, it's almost like, reminds me of like the Montanas in the game and the Marinos. If you paid attention, they threw different balls to different receivers. Like Marino didn't, the way he threw the duper, he didn't throw to the other miscellaneous receivers and tight end. He threw a different pass because he knew certain people catch a certain way. That's what OBJ brings you. Okay. OBJ catches a certain type of way. He's that guy with the fingertips. And you can kind of put the ball out of harm's way and he still get it with the 2 feet in. So he needs a quarterback who can adjust to put that ball in sometimes. He's not your regular basic receiver. He's like extra. So Josh is the best fit for him to me.
All right, so I'm gonna say this. I think Josh Allen. I wasn't even talking about the arm strength. I was talking about when people grab you, try to pull you down. I think, and I'm gonna say this to you, Fig.
Oh yeah. I agree.
I think it's harder to bring down Josh Allen than it is to bring down Patrick Mahomes. You know what I mean? I think Josh Allen's a much stronger runner. I think they both are equals passers, but I don't know. If you're OBJ, Fig, do you take Josh Allen or do you get literally Patrick Mahomes? So who would you go for?
I like the magician. I mean, Josh Allen is your prototypical in the pocket quarterback. I know he can move and stuff like that, but I like the dude that'll pull a rabbit out of a hat and you'd be like, dang, I ain't see that coming. You know what I mean? I like that kind of quarterback. And let me tell you this. Here's what I think. I think that that all of us are missing. Give Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen offensive line. Because right now, Patrick Mahomes is still running a little bit and they still getting to him quite a bit. You know what I mean? Like the defense is still getting to him. You know what I mean? And I don't think he has as great as protection as Josh Allen. Give me that same protection and then give me Patrick Mahomes with OBJ. And I'm telling you, I'm picking them to win the Super Bowl. Matter of fact, I'm picking them to win the Super Bowl anyway. But if they pick up OBJ, Kansas City, if they pick up OBJ, I got it. And to be honest with you, it's funny that we naming both of these teams because I believe that either one of them could win it all.
I believe either one of them could win it all too. But if I had to lean my money on, if somebody was to say to me right now, I'd give you $1 million if you pick the right one, I would definitely lean with Buffalo. I think Buffalo finally breaks that curse. And that hurts me to say that as a Patriots fan, but I got to do it. I got to say what I see. Right now, let me speak of saying what I see. I'm going to throw this out there to you guys. We got to talk about baseball a little bit, man. The Yankees lost to Houston Astros last night, 4-2. Houston struck out 17 batters last night, man. And I think I'm going to go out there right now on the limb. You guys think I'm always crazy when I bring this up there. But yeah, I'm a Red Sox fan. But but what I see right now is the Yankees are in trouble. Houston's on a roll. And they finally ain't cheating, T. They ain't cheating unless they cheating and we ain't know about it. Houston's on a roll. Yankees are in trouble. It's only one game. Am I okay, I'm panicking. Come
on, man. First of all, it's one game. Second of all, how many pitchers they got going to do that? That was a phenomenal pitching game. Come on, bro.
It really was.
Come on, bro. That's like, if you ever eat sunflower seeds, I bring this up because it's a national snack with baseball. If you ever go through a bag of sunflower seeds, is that one bad seed in there? I don't know why they put that in every bag. I don't know why they put it in every bag, man. You chew on that joint, your whole face goes, and now you got to start over.
Yeah, you got to spit them all out.
You know that seed is disgusting when you chase it with castor oil. Listen, here's the thing. That dude had a phenomenal game. It's a once in a lifetime thing. And at the same token, they didn't get the bat swinging. You hear me talk about this all the time. Yankees always been a team of bats. We had the greatest closer of all time and a couple of great pitches, but we've really been a team of bats. When our bats get swinging, nobody can hang with us. Problem last night, I'm going to chalk this one up to, I'm not going to take no credit away. I'm going to chalk it up to that heavy-duty pitching, like that dude lights out, and a combination of leaving one series, no rest right into the next series. You got to realize. You pick up. You pick up. And go. They didn't go down the block to Philly. They went to Texas.
Yeah.
When I do a show in New York, and I gotta fly to Texas next show ain't so great.
Right.
Yeah,
I just can't explore.
yeah, it was Justin Verlander. Justin Verlander pitched lights out. Let me say this, Fig. 17 batters strike out. 17 up, 17 gone. So is it fatigue? Is it just? I mean, what is it? What is it? You know what I mean? Yankees.
Well, listen, Frank, listen.
Am I panicking?
Verlander is probably top 5 pitcher in Major League Baseball, if not top 3. He's that dude. Then you got these guys who played yesterday. You know what I mean? They just played the day before. They had to fly out to the West Coast or
Not
Midwest.
South.
Yeah, Southwest. To Texas out of New York City. That was probably a combination of the two. A little tired, and Verlander being himself. You know what I mean? The guys probably didn't get the best sleep. You know what I mean? There's a time difference. So, I mean, it was a lot of factors playing in. I think the Yankees would be fine. I mean, it wasn't like it was a blowout. You struck out 17 players and you won by 2 runs. You understand what I'm saying? And the game wasn't over until, towards the end. Like they always had an opportunity to win the game. It wasn't like it was a complete blowout with no chance to win. So they were in the game, even with 17 strikeouts. They were in the game.
Yeah.
And we only struck out 2 of their players. Our pitcher only struck out 2 of their players. So I'll give it a little bit. I think they got to win 3 more. So I get us a nice little run.
I want to give a shout out to the Padres. I meant to say the Phillies because the Phillies ended up beating the Padres. I want to shout out to them. But before we roll up out here, I really want to make sure we get in some picks real fast. We can't do all the picks. I think the biggest game this week. Let me see. We already covered the Kansas City versus San Francisco. I think is one of the biggest games of the weekend. So I'm going to ask you, San Francisco, because they lost last week against Kansas City. Kansas City had lost last week. Who you got and why? And I know you got your sheet in front of you, or you got a bigger game to meet. Is there a bigger game to meet to you?
Which game you think is the biggest game?
I think Kansas City for San Francisco is probably one of the biggest games because they both coming off L's last week.
Yeah, but one's way more talented, so I don't really look at that the one to watch. I really think the one to watch is going to be the Dolphins Steelers because of the return, because of the may or may not return. I believe that's going to be the night game too. Because of the may or may not return, and because the Steelers can turn their thing around right here, with building off that last win. But in that game, I don't even think it's going to be close, Frank. I think the Chiefs are going to blow them out.
Yeah, I think
the Chiefs are going to blow out San Francisco because San Francisco, the Chiefs, here's the thing about the Chiefs. Chiefs are not iffy. They lose when they lose really tight games.
Right.
Think about that. Look at their losses. They go to the wire. They lose tight games or they win. San Fran, on the other hand, it's like they got 2 different teams over there. And the minute you put your money on them, they can't put no points up. And you don't bet on them, you're blowing somebody out. So I'm going to go with Kansas City Chiefs handedly whipping that ass.
So tell your boy Toure you said that too. That would make me laugh about that one because
Toure got to grow up, man. He got to grow up.
Toure would have a heart attack about that one. Fig, that's my pick of the week. I think Kansas City game versus San Francisco the best game of the week. Let me ask you this, Fig. Let's see. Green Bay versus Washington Commanders. Green Bay's coming off 2 losses, 2 back-to-back losses. They got to play the Washington as the Commanders. That could be the big game. The Colts could be the Tennessee game. Let me give you this. Let me give you the Colts game versus the Tennessee Titans game. Who do you think is going to win that game?
God, dog, they both going to lose.
That can't happen.
Oh, man. I like that. Listen, I like the Titans because they're a bruising team. You know what I mean? I like bruising teams. You know what I mean? So I like Kansas City in that. And I think the Commanders will win if G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip is going to play. If they can bring him off the bench. If they can bring G.I. No, and the game the show was talking about, I got Kansas City over San Francisco because, like Talon said, Kansas City, it's always a tight game when they lose. They're always in it. And if I'm going to lose, let it be a tight game.
Yo, y'all are watching the shows called Box Seats. Thank you all for watching. We appreciate y'all. We got a lot more coming up this week. Tomorrow, we've got to dive into some of this stuff that I'm seeing come across my tablet right now. T, tell everybody out there how they can follow you, bro.
Hey, man, follow me, Talent the Comedian on Instagram. Email me. You know that merch is out. It's the month of October. We like to remind people breast cancer awareness. So if you haven't got a T-shirt, sweatshirt, or a hoodie, pink on pink, we're celebrating the survivors this year. Email me, talent@itsjustcomedy.com, or follow me at It's Just Comedy on Twitter as well. Either way, inbox, messenger, whatever you got to do, get your order in because it's limited shirts for the pink cancer awareness.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing that, T. I'm sure a lot of people out there
Yes,
appreciate it too. Fig, talk to me. Tell me how everybody out there they can follow you, bro.
You can follow me at Comedian Fig, all social media platforms, and we would be remiss if we did not mention that Brittany Griner is still locked up in Russia.
Yeah, I think she's at 242 now, 241, 242. Y'all are watching shows called Box Seats. It's on the Humor Mill channel. Getting ready to play 2 more times today. We are going to obviously be back tomorrow and talk more about sports and everything else. We appreciate y'all for watching. We've got a lot more in store. And, I think I got one more Pelican brief about the Lakers. I want to see what happens. I'm going to go out there tomorrow. Thank you all for watching. We'll see y'all again tomorrow. And let's see if my does not stick today.